And we are live. Welcome to The Contradiction. Myself, Byron McDonald, and Lethea McCann. As I say each week, Facebook is a private-owned interface. So if you do get locked off, just hop back onto the page and you'll find a new link there. We're also multi-streaming on various platforms, so comment and
engage.
That's right. Yes.
Hey, listen up. If you're lucky enough to fall in love with someone, I love you. Try not to ruin it by Googling them.
The Contradiction with Lethea McCann and Byron McDonald.
Just to make sure you don't forget what we look like.
So as I say each week, The Contradiction is about bringing different viewpoints together and allowing you, the viewer, the opportunity to comment and engage and share your viewpoint of the topic. So each week we usually get new guest speakers, but as we said before that we do every second week, we try to do it just Byron and I to give you guys a bit of us.
Yeah, a bit of us because we're lazy sometimes.
So we're starting the show a bit later tonight. Byron was a bit under the weather and we just had to medicate him a little. But we're here and we're doing it, and this is our baby. And we're keeping you guys entertained for Sunday night before work day, eh?
And it's Mandela Day.
And it's Mandela
Anyway,
Day, yes.
So without anything, Lethea, how have you been, man? Without wasting time, how have you been? That's not a question you're waiting for. Eh?
No, but always good, always blessed, always grateful. And I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay, but I'm going to go straight into the topic. Anyway, do you need closure? Because we don't want to waste any time. It's late. We know you're in your bed. You want to sleep. If you have anything to say on this topic, because I know a lot of people find it difficult with this topic. Do you need closure before moving on, Lethea? This is a question I want to pose to you. Only you, not me. It's you. It's your show. Go ahead.
Do you need closure? Closure for who? For what? For why? Byron, didn't you close the door already? Huh?
No, I closed the door a long time ago. I'm asking you, did you close the door? But on a serious note.
Okay, do you need closure before moving on? In my opinion, I don't think you should wait for closure, because closure is a choice. It's a decision that you make. You cannot wait for anything from anybody in order for you to move on from your life. When you enter into a relationship, in every relationship you enter into, it is a risk. You do not know how it's going to end, whether it's going to end in marriage, whether it's going to end in a breakup or anything, or death, which at the end of the day, everybody is eventually going to die. But a relationship eventually does come to an end.
But some people say a relationship is like death. And I kind of not disagree, because you haven't closed everything what you were going to say. No,
because you interrupted me, as you always did.
No, but it depends on the person also. You see, we have different type of peoples in life also. So it depends if you're a dependent person, a non-dependent person. And wait, let me just greet these beautiful people first. Hello, Mandy.
Hi, Mandy.
Hello, Doreen. Hope you're doing well. And whoever wants to greet us, it's late night, it's lockdown. I hope you're laying in bed with a cup of coffee and you give us some closure also how to unravel this topic also. But anyway, let me just go ahead.
Share your experiences as well for the viewers to learn from.
Yeah. So my thing is, it depends on the person, and I don't want to overuse this word. Dependent people are out there also. And I've read up something also. Sometimes when you go into you see, I'm still not feeling that great. Sometimes when you go into a relationship, you give a little bit of yourself away. And we all know that. You also let your guard down. You also let your self-worth down. Because have you not noticed when you're single and you're all happy, jolly, and people say, oh, it's nice to be single. But we all look for somebody. And we all want to be with somebody in the end of the day. So closure is sometimes quite important to certain people when they invested so much into the relationship. It's easy for us all to say, hi, Alison, and hi, Eloise. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Sunday with everything that's going on in South Africa and in the world during this pandemic and all these things. But as I was saying, some of us are really dependent on certain things in life. Like be it a job also. Have you not noticed when you go into a workplace and you look for a job, right? And it's the job you want always. You tend to not always get it, right? But if it's a job you don't want, you're amazing at it because you don't put so much effort into it. The same with a relationship. When you put so much effort, so much time, so much energy, and you give a lot of yourself. And we say to people a lot of times, you need to not look for closure because that person lives their own life. I live my own life. But it's not that easy when You've invested so much time over the years. It's not so easy for everybody. It might have been different for you.
Okay.
And like you always say, it comes with time. But how do you find closure over time, knowing that this person's left you, knowing what you have invested in this thing? How do you learn also from this person? Do you just learn like people are different, people change? So this is what I want to ask you now. How did you find closure in your relationship? Because it's not easy.
Then let me ask you this. What is closure to you? Because closure can be different for all of us. What do you define as closure?
I'm gonna now be devil's advocate. I don't think there's a thing as closure. I don't think you find closure in breaking up after a relationship, because closure doesn't exist to me. Closure does not exist.
But you just said
No, listen to what
that
I'm
people
saying.
need closure. Some people need closure. So
I'm saying some people are dependent. That's what I said.
so if you say some people are dependent on closure, you have to have a definition as to what you think closure
So some people
is.
will always be chasing, why did this job not work out? Why did I not get the job? I have the qualifications. I have every criteria this job needs. Yes, sometimes when I'm in the interview, I'm a bit silly because I have so much passion for this job. So I know I'm using the job analogy because the same thing applies in a relationship. You see this person, you scale, wow, she's tall, he's tall. Wow, she's beautiful to me. Wow, she's got the eyes I want. She's got the voice I want. She speaks with the intellect that I want someone to speak with. But when I'm around, I'm a little bit of a puppy sometimes. But I do give a lot of good back. So a lot of people are dependent on those things. When they found something they've searched for, they believe they can't find that again. So yes, they go on and look for closure. But I believe you should not look for closure. You should learn and move on and say, okay, this is what happened. I found the girl or the guy of my so-called dreams, because I don't believe there's a girl or a guy of your dreams. And I'm going to get to that point now. Theola just got to something I just wanted to say now. And that's sometimes comes with acceptance. She's spot on. Now you need to accept and say, things in life happens, right? I might never know why this person's left me. I might never know why this person has cheated on me. I might never know why this person started becoming mean to me. I'm going to say yes, it's because of third party. You hear a lot of people say, when a third party is involved, it's never going to be fixed. When this person has, a woman has made up her mind is made up. There's a lot of things that comes into play. We're all individual people, everybody with different feelings, everybody with different thoughts. So it depends on the person and the individual. You have to first find in yourself, what type of person am I? And I speak this with everything I do. You need to evaluate, who am I? Am I the person that needs to know exactly, is it because you cheated, because you think I'm ugly? You get people like that. They need front out. If they go to a job, why did I not get the job? Why don't I qualify? Why did you fire me? It's the same thing. You need closure.
I don't necessarily agree. And I like what Theola said, that closure is sometimes acceptance. But in my opinion, when people talk about closure, they always they define it as seeking closure from the next person, from the person that they were in a relationship with. Because we're speaking about closure within relationships. I understand when it comes to jobs, the reason why people want a reason, and this is now you comparing a onion with a green pepper, because it is slightly different.
Man. Onions and green pepper both make me cry.
So with the job, you want to know, okay, what is it that I can improve on? What did I do wrong? So in the interview or in my application, what can I learn from in order to improve for the next job application or for the next interview? With a relationship, unfortunately, you cannot get closure from your ex or the opposite, or the person that you were with, or your ex-partner. As Theola said, closure is acceptance. And where does acceptance lie?
And that's
where does acceptance lie?
With you, yeah. And
Exactly.
Samuel said it nicely. Yes, closure does not exist to him. You'll always be wondering no matter what.
Exactly.
He's got a point.
The person might just say whatever they need to say because they maybe don't want to hurt you any further. You're never going to know what the truth is. You're only going to know what your truth is. And do you think, Byron, that the reason why people say they need closure is because they're not ready to move on? Because they haven't found their self-worth?
There's the key question.
Do you think that is the reason why people say, I need closure, I need to know why, I need to know why this person left me, why they cheated on me, why don't they want to be with me, why did they divorce me, why are they treating me this way, why are they smacking me around, am I not good enough?
But go back to what I said earlier. as soon as you step into a relationship, you lose your self-worth. You lose who you are because, right? Because you are compromising for the next person. For instance, you in a relationship with me. See, we started the show late. We are professionals. We normally come 8:30 on time, but I was sick today. I am sick still as I'm sitting here. But yet you had to compromise your worth of how professional you have become in what you do for your partner. If I was not your partner, you have considered it and been more stern with the next party you're doing the show with. And I'm being unfair by saying this. It might not be you, but the next person. It depends on the worth that you give to that person or so. Because when you go into a relationship and you might think it's wrong, you lose a bit of your self-worth.
Okay, so you're saying that compromising means losing your self-worth. But then what is a relationship for if you're losing your self-worth? I am sorry, but I do not agree. I think that you need to compromise. Yes, there's certain things within maybe your daily, habits that you need to compromise on. For example, putting the freaking toothpaste cap on the toothpaste.
Don't do that.
There's certain things you compromise, but it doesn't mean losing yourself, losing your value systems, you losing your moral compass in order to have this person in your life, because they're not really worth having in your life if you're losing yourself. I feel that
But I think you overanalyzing self-worth, what I'm talking about. You see, before you stepped in the relationship with myself, with your ex-partner, who was Lethea? Let me ask you that question. Who was Lethea? And don't tell me you were the person finding yourself, knowing what you want. Who was Lethea before you stepped into any relationship?
was
she more free?
I cannot say exactly because
you can.
Everything in life was a choice I made. I wouldn't say that it's because of the
no.
relationship.
I'm not asking you about your choices.
I wouldn't say that I lost myself because I've learned about myself through every experience, whether it be a relationship with my partner, with a friend, in some way or another. You have to go through changes in life to understand, is this for me? Is this who I want to be? Do I love myself in this space? And I don't think I lost myself in any way in my previous relationship. You lost yourself. Or I didn't know who I was. People change every single day. You transform, you grow, you evolve. And you always you continuously have to reevaluate your life, reevaluate yourself, and ask yourself, am I happy in the space that I'm in? Am I happy with my lifestyle? Is there something that I want to improve? Not change, I would say improve.
Okay. Maybe I should use, because we can't use just the exact where we know it's around relationships. I'm going to ask that question again.
Okay.
Who is Lethea before a relationship? Is there... and what I mean by you lose some self-worth of what you are, who you are, what you want, because compromises comes into any relationship. So when you compromise, what do you have to do when you compromise?
I think there's a difference between...
No. Answer the question. What do you have?
It's not just a black and white. It's not.
No, there's an answer to compromising.
That's not how life works. There's always a gray area, Byron.
Yeah, but when you compromise, what do? You let go of certain things of yourself to adjust to your partner, right?
Because it's something I want to do.
Yes, I never said it's not what you want to do. This is what happens.
You see, if somebody presents you with something, you're never going to know if you want to do it until you actually do it. It's not that you're compromising. It's like anything, like a sport or a habit or a hobby. You're not going to know if you're going to enjoy it unless you try it. So when you try it, you're going to see, okay, I actually like this. I want to continue doing it. It's not that you're compromising yourself. You are seeing if it works for your life or for yourself. And then once it starts becoming a habit, sometimes you can then reevaluate yourself.
That's right,
and your life and where you're at and where you were, and then you make a choice if it's something you want to continue doing. It's like smoking or even a healthy habit like drinking or smoking or exercising. Some people start exercising or stop exercising because exercising isn't always good. You get many athletes that die of heart attacks because they exercise so much, too much actually, that it has an effect on the heart.
Okay.
So you decide how much of it you want.
This is what happens in a relationship. So I'm going to make a thing about exercising. You may be built weird. Now you believe I need to climb into the gym to make myself feel better. You see, this is what people do. They are not aware when they climb into a relationship that they may be that fat kid, not literally fat. They're that fat kid. Now they think they're going to gym every day. They go to gym. The partner gives them all the tools they need, right? And they start compromising. They start sweating. They start doing everything to the book to make that partner happy, because they know this is what's going to make me happy. If I'm going to climb on a treadmill, that's speaking to the partner the way the partner wants. This is where I'm talking about certain people lose their self-worth when they climb into a relationship. Now you start putting all that energy in. Wow, things are going great. You've done everything to the T the partner wants. Here's what I talk about. You lose a little bit of self-worth. Now, all of a sudden, boom, the partner lets go of you. The partner cheats on you, but you've done every single thing to the book. This is where people start chasing closure, because they can't understand, I've worked so hard in this time. Now I understand. We all say acceptance, we learn, we understand, we grow from this, but there is not such a thing as closure. There is a thing as turning the pages and moving forward. For me, I'm just being honest. This is my opinion. It might be totally wrong, but for me, it's all about turning the pages. But you must always acknowledge that that thing is there, that happened, and learn from it. Not take closure and say, yeah, that thing does not exist. This is what people do when they do closure. They say, that never existed. Now, you've never done closure, and I'm going to tell you why I say this. You've done growth and perspective, where you've said, this is what happened to me in my life, but I took away from what I've learned from that person, and I may be incorporating some things in my life that that person's given me. Now you get certain people that go out of a relationship. I want nothing. I don't want his clothes. I don't want her clothes. I don't want to have memories of that person. I don't want to know that person used to love go-karting. I don't like go-karting anymore. They think that's going to give them closure. Do you understand what I mean by that? So now you're trying to go back to the person you were instead of using the growth purpose. This is what you call, then use the word closure. This is closure. Use it as growth. Incorporate what that person has given you. If there's nothing to incorporate, I understand. But certain people nowadays believe that every relationship that was toxic, they have learned nothing from. That person has taught them nothing. They have given everything. Because we live in a society that believes that the next person that has harmed them has been the most narcissistic person that they have ever dealt with. But unfortunately, we deal with people every day with different mindsets, different way of living. So I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say you lose some of your self-worth going to certain things.
Okay, now let me ask you, in what way? Because it still boggles my mind that you're saying you lose your self-worth. Let me ask you, do you feel you've lost your self-worth in this relationship?
Okay.
Because I cannot understand how you saying that some people lose their self-worth, because I don't agree with that, first of all. And if they've lost their self-worth, then you're in the wrong relationship. That's how I feel. Or you need to recap and find yourself in some way.
What do you understand?
What's
What do
important.
you understand what is self-worth? Because I think everybody thinks self-worth is something.
No, I'm asking you.
No,
So
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I think. What
is
is self-worth? Self-worth is your comfortability of how you are in your life, right? Self-worth is your comfortability. You see, when you go out, you don't need to tell the next person. And yes, I agree with you. You make choice. Choices are different compared to self-worth. So a lot of people think self-worth is like, oh, I disrespect myself. No, self-worth can be, I like sleeping at home all day. I don't like going out. I like doing this. I like doing that. Now remember what you doing now. So I'm a very sick person, and I'm going to use myself as an example. She loses, but she makes a choice because she loves me. She makes a choice to help me each day when I'm in pain. She makes a choice to rub my back when I'm in pain. Now you see, this is her choice. Now a lot of people don't understand. She lets go of a bit of herself to give to me, and this is compassion and empathy. Bear with me. Compassion,
facial expression.
Yeah, your facial expression tells everything. Compassion and empathy, and I'm all for that. But we don't understand that when you start doing those things, this is when it hurts more, because you make a choice, because you want to be with that person. You choose to be with that person. That person puts a lot of good energy into your life. But you let go of yourself to compromise, to look after that person, to be there for the person. I'm shooting myself down. But this is what I talk about when you lose some of your self-worth for the next person. Now imagine, boom, this person leaves you immediately. It was the best relationship you've ever had. There's no explanation. Now people's telling, just accept things happen. It's not that easy. It's not that easy in life. You've got a lot of relationship coaches that tells you. You get a lot of people that tells you. Every relationship differs. Now, this is what people also do best when they look for closure. What has this person brought to the party? What does this person brought to the party that made me so? Have I brought more to the party? They've seen this in the relationship already. So it was easier for them to find closure. But it's not the closure because this person has cheated. So they can say, you cheated. Now imagine this person just dies off and this person can't give you closure, or this person just leaves you without cheating, without anything, and you just don't understand why. And they say they just fell out of love with you. You see, this is where the hard part starts coming in. Now the trauma starts coming in. Now you need to understand the word you guys said, acceptance. I agree with that. But how do you accept is only by growth and not looking for a closure. And don't use self-worth just on the intensity that you let going of who you are, but it's because you have compassion and empathy to next people.
Okay, so you stop there with compassion and empathy. So you're saying that having compassion and empathy for the next person and giving back is part of losing yourself or yourself.
Unfortunately,
I
you
don't
have
agree
to
with
sometimes.
That. No,
okay, let's go.
I think that's part of the. Okay,
Bible,
hold on.
Bible,
that's part of the process of life. You cannot expect to receive compassion and empathy for when you are in a tough space if you're not willing to give it.
Okay, Bible times. Maybe I must have a graphic explanation. Everybody doesn't need to be Christian, Muslim, but they know the story of the Passion of Christ. So let's put it like this: Jesus was beaten, he was hit, he knew his purpose, right? So to say, but he had to let go of his self-worth. And I'm put it like this: being beaten up, he made a choice to get hurt. No one wants to get hurt. No one wants to be brutally murdered, but he made the choice because out of love for the people and the compassion he had, he believed he had a greater purpose. Now, it sounds a bit more graphic. The same thing happens in a relationship. You make a choice to love this person no matter what happens because you weigh the pros and cons. Is this serving me more? Is it serving me less? And I know I don't want to stuck on it. I want to go to more comments and we can come back to it. We can come back to it.
But just to go back onto your point, Jesus did not lose his self-worth. That's why he was beaten that way, because people want to denounce that he was born miraculously and that he has these gifts. And that's the reason why people continued beating him, the Jews, because he did not lose his self-worth. He did not deny who he was.
Okay. No,
so
I agree with
but
you.
let's just go to some of the comments.
Okay, let me just go quickly. What self-worth? So you can understand what self-worth means also.
Let's just go to some of the comments.
So Doreen says.
Okay, so Doreen says, even though it's a choice, I definitely think you need to get closure. Close that chapter and move on.
Do you agree with that?
I will explain what I define as getting closure. Mandy Peterson says, I don't think closure is necessary in a relationship if the person showed you who he or she was. If it was abusive, cheated, etc., he or she already showed you the truth.
Yeah, that's an easy one to move on also with.
That acceptance is also how one deals with the grieving process.
That's exactly what I said.
Because that's the thing. The ending of a relationship, it is actually a grieving process. It's a loss. It's
That's
like
right.
death. So even if a person breaks up with you, whether it's through cheating, because I don't think whichever way a relationship ended hard, whether the person leaves you for no reason, whether they cheated on you, because the no reason is not knowing why or what it is that you need to work on maybe for the future relationship. The cheating, you might feel less worthy because you're now comparing yourself to the what you call it, the mistress or the guy, and then also death, just losing somebody through death. Every ending of a relationship is difficult to deal with. And then Theola says, if you were with a narcissist, you can't rely on the other person to give you the answer to why.
Of course, you can't. They will give you whys.
They will give you why you weren't good enough.
Yeah, that's I agree with. I, Nicolene, hope you're doing well.
And then Theola says, when in a toxic relationship, you truly lose some bits of you, especially your confidence. It's a slow fade.
So is that not part of self-worth?
But that's why I said. That's why she says in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
She didn't say in all relationships. And that's why I asked you, do you feel that you lost your self-worth? Do you feel you lost a part of who you are? do you feel you've compromised on your value system or your way of thinking or your moral compass in order to be with me?
No, I didn't lose myself. Let's quickly leave. Self-worth is the
Internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. Self-worth is often confused with self-esteem, which relies on external factors such as success and achievements to define worth and can often be inconsistent, leading to someone struggling with it. So self-worth is feeling good enough and
Yes.
worthy of love and belonging.
Yes. So, do you understand what that means?
No, it does not explain anything that you just said now.
Listen Yes, so it's very-
Okay.
just anyway, go on.
Samuel Kordom says, I have to agree. I think that you are not the same person before entering a serious relationship. There's any change, positive or negative, is losing a part of yourself. I still don't think it's losing a part of yourself.
My darling, you lose part of yourself when you do anything. When you do anything in life, if you could jump, you lose fat. But I'm just saying, you lose part of yourself when you engage in any type of relationship.
I think you grow.
That's
You
what I
build.
said.
It's like I'm not if I work out, I'm not losing my body. I'm building on what I have.
No, if you had to build on, you would have been
what
rolling
you
around.
Have. You don't lose what you have.
Okay.
You build on what you have.
Ooh. So imagine a fat person just build on what they have. What will happen? That you-
They still have their
What did you
arms,
do?
their
What-
legs,
what-
their
what-
feet.
what did
They
you do?
just lost the fat,
What did you do earlier?
but they still have their body.
Wait. Anyway, imagine a fat person just bold on what they have. Now, this is where I come in again. You have to use these type of analogies that a fat person has to first.
But you
Uh,
said
but-
you lose your self-worth. That's what you
Yes,
said.
you lose.
I do not agree that you lose your self-worth. You shouldn't actually. You do in some relationships, but you shouldn't.
That's right.
That's
Now, this is
because
what I'm. this is-
here's the thing though, and why I can say that, because of course I speak of experience. I speak of,
you lose your
of
self-worth.
not my self-worth. Part of I would say yes, as what it said. You're knowing that you're good enough and worthy of love. And at some point, I did not feel as if I was good enough. I did not feel as if I was worthy of healthy, good love. Even the type of love that we have, I didn't feel I was worthy of it
Exactly.
because of what I went through in that relationship. Because of just the constant breaking down. But that wasn't a healthy relationship. And that's what I'm trying to say.
That's right.
If it is happening, then it is not the right relationship that you are in. You need to reevaluate that relationship
So why?
and ask, is this good for my mental health? Is this good for my future? Where do I see this relationship going? Do I love the way I feel? Do I enjoy the way I feel? Do I like the person, first of all? Did I like the person in the relationship?
Okay. So why do people?
Because there's a difference between
Question.
loving somebody and liking, because you can love somebody and not like them.
Why do people stay with people when they cheat? When they cheat?
I don't know. You need to ask them. Because
I-
I tried and it didn't work.
Because-
Because it was breaking me down on every single day trying to make that relationship work. I was hurting
so
myself.
what do
I
you
was
do
hurting
when you
myself.
do that?
But that is why I'm saying, Byron, it happens, but it shouldn't happen.
Yes, but that's what I was explaining in the beginning.
Because then it's not healthy.
It
You're
should not
never
happen.
going to be happy.
Because people climb into the relationships for various reasons. And this is, if you listen, because you were attached to the word self-worth, because it's such a big thing in today's society. And I kept on telling you, stop sticking on the word self-worth. But people climb into relationships and they lose their self-worth just because they want that job. They're desperate for that thing. They've seen this thing and they will do anything. We watched the movie now the other night where this woman built the world. No, Six. And what's the series that's on now?
Sex life.
Sex Life. What did she do? She got this perfect man. He knows everything. But a couple of years later, with a couple of kids, if you're watching that Sex Life, we only watched all the part where the guy hangs out something, episode 3, and then we stopped. I'm joking. Anyway, so here's the little example. There, you've just watched it. And this is what happens in day and age. She dated this bad boy. Good guy, treated. They gave her the adrenaline, gave her everything. Did not cheat on her. I think I haven't watched further. Did not cheat on her, but she left him because she felt it's not good for her. Then she built a perfect life, perfect family, everything, she lost her self-worth because that's not the girl she is. Because that's what she thinks she needs to have a good life. So that's part of losing her self-worth. And now she's craving that man.
I don't think that's losing your self-worth. I think she had desires. There's a difference between having desires and knowing your self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So she had desires that weren't met in a marriage, and she thought that
so she's a narcissist.
I wouldn't say she's a narcissist. It happens to many people, but it's a choice you need to make. That am I going to act what works for me? Because you cannot get everything from one person. You possibly can't. You need to choose. You need to make a choice. What am I getting out of this relationship? And is this good for me? And do I prefer this instead of that? It's a choice that you make. It's a preference. Everything in life is a preference. I choose this, even though I'm not getting everything that I need. That's why you need to also fulfill yourself in that relationship. That's why they say you need to come with your own happiness in order to share your happiness with somebody else. Because if you're going to be in that relationship expecting everything from that one person, you're putting so much pressure on that person, because your partner has to work on keeping their own mind sane, keeping themselves happy, and at the same time trying to invest in you to make you happy. That's not fair. But let's go back to, let's first go into some of the comments before we go back into the closure. But I like what Samuel said. So Tracy says, I agree with Lethea. We are always evolving and can only take the lessons learned from previous experiences and improve on those areas.
I said that.
Byron just wants to be right. Bertha, so sorry. Okay. Good evening, Bertha. Hope you're well. Sharon, hi. Am I in time? Yes,
Yeah.
Sharon, you're still
Byron
in
was
time.
a bit sick.
He was a bit under the weather, so we started the show a little bit later this evening. But it's awesome to have you join us. We are happy to see you popping on. Sharon, I'm a bit emotional. I in so much doubt to go for the jab.
Oh wow,
Ooh.
shame, man. Sorry, Sharon, I can't help you there. I can't tell people to go or not to go, or to never go, or to go when they need to go. It's a decision you have to make, and hopefully you just pray for it and just pray over it. So I mean, there's a godlike persoon, so just pray over it and you will believe what you need to do at the end of the day. Yeah, so this topic has turned into self-worth because Lethea is stuck on one word that I brought up in the beginning.
So let's go to the closure. What does it mean to me?
What is closure? That's right.
Closure to me.
But wasn't that the question in the beginning? And you never answered it?
I did. we're getting to that. To me, it means I just love what the previous comment said. If I can just move up.
Okay.
Was a Theola. And this to me is what closure is. Closure is sometimes acceptance. Closure is always acceptance to me. Accepting what the outcome of that relationship is or was. As I said before, you're never going to know how that relationship is going to cease. It will come to a standstill or to an end, but it is going to some way, form or another. That's why we enter into relationships, not really knowing where it's going to go, what's going to happen. It's a risk.
Exactly.
Everything you do in life is a risk. But as with all risks, that is how you grow. That is how you learn. That is how you transform. I mean, the greatest risk that people take is that the success lies through the greatest risk that people take. Even if you come to investments, you can either go for your conservative investment, which means that your interest rate is going to be very, very low. That is always knowing what your interest rate is going to be. You don't really get much. You don't get much return on that investment. But then there's that risky investment where you can either lose a lot or you can gain a lot. But that is what life is. It is a risk. So closure is accepting everything that happens and knowing that whatever you've done, you've tried your best, and then drawing from every experience in life. And I believe that nothing in life is ever bad. There's always good that can come from every experience. And once you look at life as through that perpetual lens, through a lens of growth, transformation, learning, and moving forward, then I think it will be easier to move on. Because I can say this, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and this was when I was going through the breakup at the time, and I was devastated. And just trying to wrap my head around how am I going to move on? When is this emotional trauma going to stop? And she said to me, it took her 3 years to move on, to get over her ex. And I said to her, are you freaking telling me that I'm still going to feel like this for the next 3 years? And she said, I can't say. For her, it took so long, but she cannot say how long it's going to take for me. It took me 6 months, I would say, to really accept that the outcome of that relationship. And I would say the difference between 6 months and 3 years is a choice. It's a choice that you had to make. Because at some point or another, she had to make a choice to move on. And that choice could have been 3 years after the breakup. My choice was 6 months after. The choice to accept and to move on and to take the lessons, and then also to implement strategies as to how I'm going to move forward. Because you cannot learn from anything if you're not going to accept or implement strategies in order. It's the same thing as when you're trying to lose weight, when you're trying to get healthy. Same thing when it comes to your emotional health, your mental health. You need to put in the work. And the problem is that a lot of people don't want to make the choice to put in the work because it's easy to sit in your sorrow. It is easy to feel sorry for yourself. And unfortunately, I'm going to call it what it is. It's easy to be a victim in life. Everybody can be a victim. There's so many reasons why you can be sad. So many reasons why you can sit in and have a pity party. But it takes work in order to actually grow. I had to put strategies in place. For example, no contact. Even though it was so difficult, I had to cut off from all social media. I had to put time with it. I had to invest time within myself, surround myself with friends and family that would support me. Go to the gym, not take my mind or keep my mind occupied so that I can't deal with the emotion, but deal with the emotion through a positive way. And it takes work. A lot of people don't want to do that. That's why it takes them longer to get over a relationship.
Go.
And then finding the belief within yourself again to know that you are worthy of love. By, as Sharon also says, forgiveness.
No, she says Byron Lethea has verbal diarrhea tonight. Anyway, then she says
and then
forgiveness.
forgiveness also helps with closure. And I will say this as well. I had resentment also to the girl. And I don't want to I don't want to speak about the cheating and implicate anybody, but it's my experience. I have to speak about my experience. So the girl that I had to forgive the girl, even though she had absolutely no loyalty towards me. Not how do I say she owed me nothing because I had no relationship with her.
No, but
yet I had
to, isn't it that she owes you stuff?
Didn't even know her. But I had to learn to forgive the whole process. I had to learn to forgive him and her because I still had a lot of resentment towards her for no reason. Because I felt she's a woman.
Love it.
And I wouldn't do that to another woman knowing that this woman is in a relationship. I mean, I would not want to. When I've had guys that's in the relationships approach me, and as soon as I hear that they have a girlfriend or there's an ex or, oh no, me and my girlfriend got separated, I'm just like, no, you know what, go sort out your things because I'm worthy of more than just an option. So I would never get involved in something like that. And I thought, and I expected the same from her. But here's the thing, not everybody thinks like me.
Oh, girl, not everybody thinks like me. I love what you said.
But anyway, let's
No, I love what you said, and I don't want to go back on it. But question, and I love the way you're talking. Let me just go through a couple of comments.
Yeah.
Let me just go to.
You got to make peace, and then closure happens automatically. Exactly. Okay. Samuel says, acceptance is not closure. Acceptance is a state of mind or being that allows us to feel better about the bad decisions we made. But I would say that
I agree with him.
That's also that is part of closure. Because you're closing the chapter by accepting.
No, but this is what I said in the beginning. Samuel's, I love you this week at your comments, Samuel. Ons weet ons het twee lekker vasgesit last week. But this is what I like. You see, I give people the due what I agree. She might disagree. But I like what you're saying. Acceptance is not closure. Acceptance is a state of mind or being that allows us to feel better about the bad decisions we made. But the last part, I kind of disagree because there's no bad decisions. There's choices you make in life. But I love what you said. I stick on what you said. I'm taking out what you're saying there. So let's just go on to the next one.
Theola says closure is also linked to forgiveness. I used to tell myself I need to accept the past. Nothing I can do now will change the past, but rather the future.
Love it. That's basically what Samuel said.
And then Andre says, love your words tonight, Lethea. We are all just learning and evolving. Take the lessons from it. Your mindset is everything. It is not a loss. You took the chance. Exactly. And here's the thing. Take accountability for the choices that you make and not blame the next person for where you find yourself in life.
What I speak about always, accountability
and taking responsibility. I would never blame the next person, but I would say each one needs to take responsibility for the part that they've played. And here's the thing. In order for me to learn, I need to understand what is it that I could have done differently. And not just look from and not just see that he was the one that wronged me. But I think there's certain things that I also needed to learn from. That is why I have an amazing relationship right now. Because if I had come with that old habits into this relationship, I don't think we would have had such a healthy relationship to begin with. So and that's the thing. Healthy relationships. We posted the video earlier. Earlier in the week. With regards to healthy relationships, where people say, I just want a healthy relationship. You can't just get a healthy relationship. You need to work towards a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship is created. You play a part in that healthy relationship just as much as your partner. If you have a toxic relationship, then you're also responsible for that toxic relationship yourself. Then walk out of that relationship if you feel that it's not working for you. But you're making a choice to be in that relationship. And I hate it when people say, this person is a narcissist, this person is toxic, this person is breaking me down. At some point or another, you have to then put your needs first, and you need to make a choice. Is this something that I want to stay in? Or do I want to be happy? Do I want a healthy relationship? And then you need to make a choice to be strong enough to walk away from that relationship and not just blame your partner for being in a toxic relationship, because then you're in a toxic relationship with yourself.
My girl's on fire tonight. She said, ek het haar opgewarm met selfworth. But anyway.
Bottom line, forgiveness and making peace does help with closure. Exactly. And then try not to live with the past. Don't cry over spilled milk.
My melk is gespil, sir.
As al sier melk, but jy oor die sier melk.
I love how die ding toemaak, maar hulle look at closure, but the thing is al sour.
As al sier al.
So Lethea, here's the question I wanted to ask you while you were speaking so profoundly about closure. You see, the partner plays a role still giving you closure. And I'm kind of was with your experience as your friend and there. So here's the question. Does it become easier when that person comes crying back? You see, it's good to give advice, but you need to give advice from a standpoint of it doesn't happen to everybody. Some people never come crying back.
You can't wait for that though.
No, I understand.
Because as Samuel said, acceptance is a state of mind. It is a choice you make. Yes, whether that person comes back to you or not.
But your experience.
Terwyl nou a bietjie van my
Of course, you can't speak and tell someone else and then they're not in the same boat.
When I chose to move on, that person only came crying back a few months later.
Oh, I love that word. Only came crying back. Right? Okay, go on.
I already decided to move on. I already decided to go on with my life. And I think, of course, when people take a peek into your life and they see you going well, then they want to come running back to you. But that's where your self-worth needs to kick in. Do you want to go back to the sour milk, or do you want to go buy yourself a 6 carton of milk?
6 carton, bro. 6 carton, bro. She got herself.
Don't cry over spilled milk. Move on.
She got herself ever fresh.
When you finally make the decision to move on, do you know how much work it takes to make that decision? Do you know how much time you invest in yourself and into your mental sanity in order to move on from that relationship? I must be mad if I must go back to that same thing that made me like that in the first place. That got me in that hole that I needed to get myself out of. I'll be crazy to go back there.
Yes, that is bluntly put, but anyway.
So Andre says, in my past experience, my relationship broke off while I was overseas due to long distance. Things then wasn't working anymore. And for that entire time, all I wanted was closure and to hear his actual reasons. Eventually, when I did speak to him, almost 2 years later, I came to realize that he will never be as sorry as what I thought and expected. People are not really that sorry at all. Make peace with the apology you will never receive. Andre, I love that. And that's exactly what I said, that people will never tell you the truth. because they either they're thinking about their own image, or they're protecting themselves, they're defending themselves, so they don't really want to give you the true reason.
Or they want to keep their options open.
Exactly.
That's the one thing.
True.
You see, when people are not done with you, done draining you, if you say you dated a narcissist, because a narcissist is the only person that can do that, coming back, crying back, like, oh my God, I want you. I'm sorry, I cheated on you. I was in a bad space. I don't know what happened to me.
I was in a dark place.
Devil took over my mind. I don't know what happened. That's the shit they do anyway. But a narcissist is the biggest victim you can get, and we have to call it. And I don't like pointing out or giving names to people, but it's a narcissist. At the end of the day, they will tell you everything you need, and you'll be like, they'll show you what you need. Also, this is why I say you lose yourself. They'll say,
for a month.
Can't you see I'm wearing the jacket that you love me to wear so much? Can't you see I'm wearing your cap? Can't you see I'm
wearing your...
I changed your... Can't you see I changed my profile picture to us? I still care about you. But then
Keeping
they need
options.
something from you first.
Yes.
First of all, they might need something from you at that time. You is very careful. Narcissists are evil. They're very careful. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. So yeah, all those things is part of giving closure and part of finding stuff. So here's the thing. Let me just quickly go to the comments. Through Lethea, take responsibility for your own happiness in a relationship. That is true.
By the time they come back crying, it is a little too late. Bly en al weg. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So that was.
Byron, I have a friend like that. I eventually distanced myself from the narcissist.
Yep, exactly.
And then Theola says, narcissists normally create patterns without knowing. You must stay woke. Exactly. Look at the red flags, because they do have patterns.
Ask her daily. Look out for patterns in our relationship. If I show you any patterns, or I show inconsistency of how I love you or how I treat you, then come approach me. Then I'll evaluate our relationship. But in cases of people not looking for patterns, they rely on certain things. You see, relationships don't just die overnight. It dies because of little things, inconsistency. You don't fall. Lethea said it earlier. You can't expect and say, oh, found a girl in my dream, found a guy in my dreams. Love fades, comes and goes. That little bit of pieces that adds up. Tell me the time and moment you fall in love with that person. There is no such thing. You fall in love with that person over time with certain things. We only fell in love probably after 8 months, a year. In love.
Like really
deeply in love. We knew
love.
We had feelings for each other because our friends started there. We knew then we loved each other. We knew we cared about each other. We want to be there for each other. We knew then we could deal with certain stuff. There was like cons that was overpowering. But then that build up of love over time made it say, there is no certain time I could say, this is when I fell in love with Lethea. But there's certain moments I can never get out of my brain that will always step through my mind. When I flash of her, I think of her. When she stepped into a room, I said to her earlier, do you know what? Whenever I met you and you come to the restaurant and I'm already there, or I come to a place I'm already there, I feel like that's my woman walking through the door. You see, I never knew when that started happening, but it happened over time. But it's because of all the little things. And unfortunately, people don't like to do it. And so the little conditions, the little things she does for me and I do for her. And how I speak to her and how she speaks to me and how we open each other's minds. And this is part of falling into love, in love.
But let me ask you this, Byron. Do you feel you needed closure in your previous relationship? And if so, how did you get it?
How did I get it? I never got closure. I was given an ultimatum by myself. I was. Do you know what? I think I have a different. This is why I like to ask you your journey. You see, with my cancer, I was given an ultimatum. With my kids, I was given an ultimatum. Basically, in my mind, it was rather fight for your life and be around with your kids, or nag and fight for something for someone that doesn't want you anymore. And she knows this is the honest truth. I can't lie about it. You see, and then here's a little bit of another step, like Lethea said afterwards. Surround yourself with good people. The people I shoved away because of letting go of myself with a little bit. The people that I shoved away because I made a choice to love somebody and respect that person's way of life, because I wanted to live that way, because I love that person more. I thought the pros were more important. You see, this is what happened. I then got those support system stronger. Lethea was part of that support system. And I can't deny, there's no self-made person in this world, I always say. You need people and you need support around you, and you need to love. Be it just one person, your mother, your father, your sibling, your best friend. There's always someone that lets you see the green light. Be it a fling, your person breaks up with you. That fling makes you maybe see flipping how ek kan mos 'n bietjie beter doen. When you break up a relation, a rebound, it's maybe not the person you want, but you need something to release whatever you need to release. And all those things make you see. Like I seen girls I was with when I broke up, and I said, wow, how many girls want to be loved, and you are crying over something that does not want to give you love back. You see, it's all these things that adds up over time. But anyway, that's how I found my closure. Closure is all about understanding what is good for you at that point, not finding how did you find closure, how did you find closure, or how did you find closure, what do I need for my life at this moment? That is the question you need to ask.
I love that. So if we can just go to some of the comments then, because we're almost coming to the end of the show. Through Byron, it's a build-up of little things. And then Sharon, it took me 24 years to say enough is enough. At that time, I was already cold and didn't feel any pain anymore, so the divorce was easy for me.
Wow.
And once a woman chooses to move on...
Don't
and
say
to
once a woman. You and I
Okay.
fight about that a lot.
Okay, when somebody decides to move on and to let go, you cannot change their mind.
Yeah.
So
you and
closure-
I were trying. Do you know what's the thing? We're trying to get to this point where we don't say woman, man,
men,
woman,
yeah.
man. Because we all have emotions,
different.
because we really shoot men down a lot. And I'm raising a boy and a daughter. And I don't want my boy to come into a relationship. Yeah, you're just a man that's evil. Have you not seen how the generation has swapped over? Oh, you're not as strong as the guys in the past. Now you're going to make the men hardcore again. And then you're going to say, oh, the men are too abusive. Be happy and understand that person. Let people be who they are in this life and in this earth, man or woman, or the other 100 genders they want to be. Anyway, I'm still confused on that. But yeah, this is where I stand with that. And just to take this comment.
So, amen, we are not an island on our own. We need each other more than what we think and realize.
Excellent.
Love that. So, we have come to the end of the show. And what we usually do at the end is we usually give our guest hosts an opportunity to share their thoughts and closing statements. So, Byron, do you have anything to say? If you can just motivate our viewers. I know you're going through a lot at this moment. But if you can just close off the show with some closing comments.
I love doing this. I don't pity party myself, but I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I'm sitting in a lot of pain, laying in bed now, and we contemplating even of me coming on. But yet I said to him, do you know what? I'm not going to let this, let this pain not allow me to speak. Come on. I mean, I got lots of pimples just of all the toxins that's in my body. But despite that, I'm not going to allow it to keep me back from me expressing who I am. The day that I can't breathe is the day that I keep my mouth shut. You love it, Bible, Byron and verbal diarrhea. But I want to leave you with something, and that's choices in life, and that's accountability, like Lethea said. Stand up each day and say, I get to breathe. I get to live this life. I get to do certain things. And also on the other pathway is also make that choice and say, I choose to do this. Not because I'm forced to do this, but I chose because it's your choice. And take the accountability. If it does not work out, it does not work out, because there's not wrong choices in life. There's no wrong choices in life, because we all just make a choice and we live by it. You see, we all have different ways of life. So I want you to have a beautiful evening. And I'm maybe going to, if Lethea allows me, I know it's not my page, but I want to say never lose your kind hearts and love every day and put God first. And I'm going to say that by, again, as I maybe said before, never lose your kind heart despite how someone treats you. Love every day, because life is beautiful, because you get to live this life, and put God first, because in that way you'll understand what I do. I look at the moon when I can, when it's bright and shiny, and say to myself, wow, I'm a miracle. I'm here. Despite even my last breath is in this next hour, I got this gift and I enjoyed it.
Beautiful, beautiful words. As Bernadette says, let's just go to some of the comments.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Bernadette says, Amen, Byron. And then Samuel, 100 genders people. Thank you, Byron. Beautiful words. As always. Love you guys. Love you too, Bertha. Life is too short. Enjoy it. Thank you so much to all the viewers for tuning in, for commenting and engaging and sharing your thoughts on this topic. Thank you, Dor. Absolutely, Byron. Good night. Very inspirational topic. Thank you, Doreen. So we might be taking a break next week. because Byron has chemo in this next tomorrow. So we're going to see how the effects of the chemo is, but we might take a break and then catch you guys the following week.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, keep me in prayers. It's a
Yes.
hard decision. I was going to stop chemo because of what it's done to my body and to my organs. But yeah, I'm here to fight, man, because I want to marry this woman still, guys. Come on, keep me in prayers. And
Let's just give that show that ring quickly again.
yeah, anyway. So give me that chance, keep me in praise and healthy ears, and let me not cry because voor ons toe heel ek maak vir haar so baie heel klaar. Love you guys and good night.
Good night.